What's up, beautiful people? We are back today with another video. So, last time we checked out Tania, who is an industry personnel, and her experience at Diddy's Freak Off, and it was wild. It was bad, horrible. However, today we have the Truth Behind Diddy's Freak Offs, a video by Rotten Mango Summary, and this is potentially going to elaborate more about the freak offs. That's what I believe. It's a 30-minute video by Rotten Mango Summary, and I believe the lady behind this is Stephanie Sue. So shout out Stephanie Sue. Before we proceed, like, share, subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's get into this. Find out more about this pervert.
This is the case of a music mogul who is accused of sex trafficking. He is facing at least 11 different lawsuits from victims. Another 120 are suspected to file lawsuits against him. He is currently sitting in prison awaiting trial. There are rumors that the feds have taken 100 electronic devices where the rumor is he and his fellow friends in the industry, high-profile celebrities, have been caught engaging in potentially illegal sexual activities.
And the weird part of this all is he filmed all those devices that were confiscated of the high-profile celebrities and government officials, whoever might be part of it. He filmed. He was walking down the freak offs while you're getting your freak off. He was getting the camera on, and that is wild. This guy is devious, and that is why I think it might end up like the Epstein case, or sheesh, I don't know, because this is wild.
This is part one of the Sean Diddy Combs case. The man, Jonathan Odie, is arrested. Before the police can even question his dangerous but honestly kind of...
Yeah, I'm sorry for pausing too much. This Jonathan Odie guy, I know because I watched his interrogation, I think 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, or a year and a half ago. That was the guy that was arrested and was saying a lot of wild stuff. This guy said he knew Obama, he knew Trump, and they had some secret going on, the Illuminati and stuff like that. And he spoke about Diddy, but at that time, this wasn't wild as it is right now, so people didn't know. I thought he was crazy when I watched that interrogation. I thought it was crazy. I had watched it, and I was like, man, this guy's insane. Like, that's wild, you know, because his issue became like big. It became like big news. If you follow the news, you'd realize this guy went over to Trump Towers just shooting and running and shooting, and he slipped, and it was wild in there. So I watched the interrogation. This guy was saying a lot of wild stuff. He said he slept with Cassie. Well, I'm not going to go into it. Let's see what she says and if she touches on it.
Bizarre crime. They have to take him to receive medical attention. The whole time that doctors are trying to save him from his own pain, he's screaming, "I'm not going to talk to none of y'all traitors. I need to talk with the FBI, Secret Service, someone get me the
crazy.
CIA. I need the media on the line now." He's a worker for a website called dancingbears.com. It's an X-rated website where male dancers put on big bear masks and have intimate relations with women.
What?
He continues on his rambles. I have a settlement with the former president of the United States, Obama. I have a settlement with the current president of the United States, Donald Trump. And I have one with P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Excuse me? After the hospital, Jonathan Odie is brought into an interrogation room. Here's what I want you guys to know. You know the Illuminati group that I was telling you about? He puts his hands up in a triangle shape. The Illuminated group, you know, the Illuminati, which is an elite group, okay? Individuals which run the whole country, all right? You have the Illuminati, basically, which means illuminate. They do satanic ritual abuse, which is basically CIA mind programming techniques to their own family and kids, and they bond that way. They do and everything in the Bohemian Grove.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Sean Combs.
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself
Yeah.
these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
So I have this settlement with Sean, and he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land over contracts. Okay. He leans in, he puts his arms on the table.
I had with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would really tell me what to do with Cassie, and I heard a lot.
Because when they would do it, Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I'll be in there. I was like a slave. He alleges, in more simplified terms, they move drugs all over the United States. They move drugs in private jets that don't get screened within the United States domestically. They move all that dope in the private jets. They move what's called high-grade powder MDMA. They move cocaine. They move liquid cocaine in their bottles, too.
I seen the liquid cocaine. I've drank it myself. Having Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks it all the time. Alright, he calls it.
Hey, you know what? I noticed watching this back, I thought this guy was crazy. I did. I thought he was crazy. I'm like, well, he's going to plead an insanity case. He started to build the case right now by saying all this extravagant stuff. That's what I thought. But right now watching this, it's surreal. And what I'm wondering is, if he got that right about him sleeping with Cassie and what Diddy was saying and all that stuff, without this blow-up case as we have right now, it was lesser known then, and see how accurate it is all the stuff he's saying about the trafficking of drugs true? Are those what were in the baby oil bottles? Like Jindil said, like those bottles of baby oil, the 1,000 bottles of baby oil were laced. They were not just baby oils in those bottles. Because he said he saw liquid cocaine. Liquid like Coca-Cola and other stuff. If he was right about the sexual stuff and the freaky stuff, is he right about this too? And what makes it scary is he right about Obama and Trump? We're yet to find out. Who knows? Maybe in another year or 4 years, we're going to reference back to him and say, ooh, this guy had something. So let's see. It's wild.
All right.
There's many parts of the interrogation that sounds like the unhinged ramblings of someone who has lost touch with reality and has gotten swept up in every internet conspiracy possible. But the question is, what if there's even a little bit of truth to what he's saying? Because 4 years later, the Department of Homeland Security conduct a multi-state raid on Diddy's LA mansion and his Miami mansion. Tanks are driving up to that house. A swarm of fully decked out, in tactical gear officials start clearing through that house. They've got guns pointed in every direction. They're sending in drones to check rooms. Diddy's two sons, 30-year-old Justin and 25-year-old Christian, are forced up against the wall, handcuffed with guns pointed at them. They're dragged out of the house while the rest of the team tear through that place. Which is interesting, because what exactly are these Homeland Security officials looking for? It's said by the time that they left, there were just cables dangling around, like they unplugged some security cameras, multiple safes that were left wide open, almost 100 electronics confiscated. At the same time, his massive $40 million compound in Miami was also raided by Homeland Security at the same time. Whoa. Coordinated. It's a pretty crazy visual to see Homeland Security just rolling up in tanks, camo, full gear. There's only like 50 houses on this little island that he lives in Miami. It's called Star Island. It's like a billionaire island. Interestingly enough, Alex Rodriguez and his then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, who also happens to be Diddy's ex-girlfriend, owned a house on the same island.
40 million Miami home, 60 million LA home, both getting raided at the same time.
By Homeland Security.
Sheesh. They knew something. They were coming for something.
Miami. There's actually someone who took a video of him pacing around because I'm sure he's getting all the news that his homes are getting raided. He just got spoken to by Homeland Security. And someone says ominously while they're recording Diddy,
I guess you wonder what's gonna happen next, Diddy. I know.
It's very unsettling. The whole thing is unsettling. When your house gets raided by Homeland Security, that is very odd.
Yeah.
Homeland Security is the department that is responsible for trafficking. In a statement, the feds would reveal that they are investigating Diddy for trafficking charges and that they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant along with narcotics in Diddy's mansion. That is enough to fill a 100-gallon fish tank. You could use the baby oil to paint the surface, the outside of the White House one time and then another half. So some people think that it was included in the indictment to indicate this amount of baby oil must have links to trafficking. You don't just do this as someone who loves to have intimate relations with.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't just have 1,000 baby oils. You don't even have 100. That is too much. That's excessive. Like, what were you doing? And even if you host parties like freak offs and stuff like that, like 1,000 baby oils, that is ridiculous. Like, there has to be more to it than just sexual stuff. Like, it has to be linked to something, like either as trafficking or the drug trafficking. Right? It has to be either or. That's crazy. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. He's the devil.
Even multiple women and men, who cares, right? But this gives some sort of organized brothel vibes. Or some people think that it was included in the indictment along with the narcotics because there is suspicion that the baby oil has been laced with something. Now, but more alarming is that they find 9 AR-15 style weapons, 6 with the serial numbers intact, but 3 of them, the serial numbers are scratched off.
Oh.
His homes are raided in March of 2024. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, files her lawsuit November 2023. But everyone thinks, no. The lawsuit actually starts back in 2022. I know it's very confusing. Bear with me here. 2022, Cassie and Diddy have already been broken up for 4 years now. In fact, Cassie is married to another man. She's a mom with 2 beautiful children. But Diddy is winning the BET Lifetime Achievement Award. But in his winning speech, he says, "Anything I do is through love. That's what I evolved to be. That's what I'm doing right now. I was in a dark place for a few years and I gotta give a special thank you to the people that was really there for me." He lists a few people. And then there's this odd moment where he looks directly into the camera and says, "Cassie, for holding me down in dark times. Love."
Yeah, and also Cassie for holding me down in the dark times. Love.
They broke up in 2018. This is in 2022.
That is crazy.
She's married. She's moved on. It's not like they're still on and off. He's dating Young Miami. He's dated like a string of other women, allegedly. Cassie's not even there.
Yeah.
This is very strange.
Is it like kind of like a threat almost?
That's what it feels like. At the time, nobody thought it was. They just thought it was kind of disrespectful to Young Miami. But now in hindsight, it feels like a threat.
Yeah. I'm sorry for pausing. I think he was sending a message. I think he probably had the intel that Cassie was onto something. There was going to be something coming, lawsuit or something. So that particular statement right there, Cassie for holding me down in dark times, I think it was to send her a message because she had moved on. There was no way he was going to link up with her again. There was no way, I believe, she was going to meet up with him. So that was like a message like, "Hey, Cassie, I know where you're wrong. You better behave because I got stuff on you," or something like that, right? Else, why would, after 4 years, mention her name? Like, that doesn't make sense. So that, I think, was a message to Cassie. Ah, man, this guy is crazy.
Because just 18 months later, Cassie will file a lawsuit against Diddy. She states that even the start of their relationship was not something she consented to. The 19-year-old Cassie gets presented with this very simple 10-album deal with Diddy's record label, Bad Boy Records. So far, Cassie just has a few songs that by chance happen to be playing at a club.
When was this?
This is back in 2006. This is when they first meet. Her songs were playing at a club that Diddy was at, and he's intrigued. I mean, her voice, it's nice. She's going viral on MySpace at the time. And 37-year-old Diddy ends up signing 19-year-old Cassie to his label. She flies all the way to Europe with Diddy to perform at the MTV Europe Music Awards in Denmark later that year. And during hair and makeup leading up to this performance, she's sitting in the makeup chair and her makeup artist is fixing her face, staring at her in the mirror, and just states, "Diddy's interested in you." Cassie thought the whole thing was just gossip and honestly kind of gross. He's so old, he's practically double her age. I mean, there's just no way. But from what everybody has said about Diddy, if he wants something or someone, there's really no way of saying no. The two enter into a very public relationship, and for the most part, they fit this very glamorous, jealousy-inducing public image. The music mogul, the beautiful, talented girlfriend, they look good together. She states publicly that after her on and off relationship with Diddy from 2007 to 2018, she's finally ready to come clean. She says, quote, "After years of silence and darkness, I'm finally ready to tell my story and to speak up on behalf of myself and for the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their relationships. I am ready to tell my story and to speak up." She goes on to detail in depth about her experience with Diddy. Within 2 years of meeting Mr. Combs, Ms. Ventura found herself lured into this immediate circle of her boss, the owner of her record label, and one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry. On one of those occasions, he hands her this pill and told her to take it. He wouldn't tell her what it was, but she was so scared she just swallowed it. Later, she said she realized it was ecstasy, something she had never tried before and never wanted to do. And it just gets worse from there. There were always drugs being pushed onto Cassie. Diddy would often have pills and other drugs out in the open like, quote, candy. As she wanted Mr. Combs to continue to support her career, she felt she could not refuse Mr. Combs' urging for her to take more drugs. The lawsuit alleges throughout their relationship, Mr. Combs was prone to uncontrollable rage and frequently beat Miss Ventura savagely. In one instance, it was 2 black eyes, a burst and bruised lip, and a huge welt on her forehead. The lawsuit states that the injuries on Cassie were allegedly so bad that Diddy would come to his senses, realizes, oh yeah, these are brutal, literal crimes, felonies that I've committed. And he would hide his girlfriend Cassie in his house or hotels to make sure she's not seen or photographed with all the injuries that he inflicted on her. Another time, they were at a party in LA. Cassie thought Diddy would be proud and excited that she was networking. She spoke with this music manager in hopes of growing her career. But when Diddy finds out, he's not happy, he's enraged. He drags her out of the party into the car. He's beating her, pushing her into a corner of the vehicle, quite literally, allegedly, stomping on her face.
What?
When they get to Diddy's house, Cassie tries to make a run for it, but he chases after her and kicks her in the face again. She's bleeding profusely at this point. She gets ushered into his house where she starts throwing up from the violent assault. Once they got in the house, Diddy, he starts realizing, wait, the extent of her injuries, she's got to go to a hotel to heal. She's not allowed to leave this hotel for an entire week while healing.
What you got to say now? What you got to say now? You ain't got shit to say when you put your girl on the snap.
She recognized she was powerless. She said, from that point forward,
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? I don't know what to say. Bro, what? Hey, yo, yeah, this guy needs to be locked up. Man, the description of these, and then Cassie was hiding under a blanket on the floor, and he's saying you don't have anything to do now. How are people defending this guy? This is worse than sick. The video we saw of Cassie climbing the elevator and Diddy doing that to her, I thought was the worst. I thought that was like him getting off the rails, and bro, he was stomping her face in the car because she went to network about music, trying to help herself out. Oh my goodness.
She was terrified, isolated, and unable to see a pathway out of Mr. Combs' abusive hold on her life. She found herself numb to the abuse that she was experiencing. She began to blindly follow his instructions out of fear of, again, being on the receiving end of a vicious beating. Freak-offs, according to Cassie's lawsuit, they started happening within a few months of dating. Diddy kept telling Cassie that he wanted to engage in this fantasy with her called voyeurism. He explained it's a fantasy of watching others engage in intimate activities. He allegedly said it would, quote, turn him on if he saw Miss Ventura with another date. The first time it happens, Diddy hires a man, brings him to his LA mansion. He forces that man and Cassie and himself to wear masquerade masks, take drugs. The whole time he's sitting there and allegedly instructing Cassie on what to do to this man while he's watching and self-pleasuring. This encounter, according to the lawsuit, lasted multiple days. So it seems like he's drugging everyone, allegedly keeping everyone on drugs so that they can keep going. He starts referring to these events as freak-offs, or an FO, if you will. After the first time, randomly Diddy would call Cassie and tell him he wanted an FO. Eventually, he would even make her coordinate them, picking the location, usually hotels, hiring the male workers. He forced her allegedly to go online and find these men to have these encounters with, and specifically told her to search for, quote, large black penis.
Oh my God.
He would even fly these men around the US to meet up with Cassie and Diddy.
Yeah. No. What? Wait, so it makes me think, what is the freak off then? Cause in the last story, the lady said they went to Diddy's house. People were naked on the compound, and she was selected in. But before that, Diddy's girlfriend at the time, which I thought was Cassie, came and he pushed him. And she went inside the house, saw the kids and all that stuff. And this one, it's saying Diddy had Cassie look for big black BBCs, fly them in, and he will be at the corner instructing them to do stuff. So which is the freak off? Is it like the girls thing first, and then he'll do Cassie's own like privately or something? Oh my goodness, bro. What is this? I thought I heard everything about this guy, man. This is ridiculous.
So that he could watch them having intimate relations with his girlfriend against her will. While Cassie is doing that, Diddy is picking out lingerie that he wants her to wear. He's making sure that her nails are painted white. He allegedly liked to have her white nails, to quote, in paraphrased terms, contrast to the skin of the black men that he was hiring to have sex with her. Diddy's assistants would be sent to the hotel to set up the FOs, which, by the way, there's a Conan O'Brien segment. Conan O'Brien was like, I heard this rumor that you don't actually ever check into a hotel by yourself. Like, you are not a normal person. You don't check in and like, oh, where's my room? You send people to check in for you and get the room ready. And he says, yeah, like they got to make it sexy before I arrive.
For preparing the sexy.
Preparing the sexy.
Yeah, you know, roses and things of that nature. I'm into baths. It's just little things that I personally like.
So he would have his assistants send to the hotel to set up for the FO, set up with baby oil, Astroglide, all these things. And there are also allegedly a ton of drugs present: ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, alcohol. Honestly, it's the only thing that let Cassie disassociate from these encounters. There's so much coordination happening for just one of these encounters. It's really hard to say how many people on Diddy's team were involved in these arrangements. Another odd part of the routine is after the freak-offs, they would get IV fluids to recover from all the heavy drug usage. These freak-offs became more and more frequent, sometimes happening once a week. Clearly, Cassie hated it, but he kept telling her it was their thing, their secret, and allegedly he would even instruct her to talk to these workers and would specifically instruct where to touch them. He would say things like, quote, "Grab that big black dick. How does it feel?" This is in the lawsuit. But sometimes he would just beat her during freak-offs in front of the sex workers. Side note, he would pay the men a few $1,000s in cash for their services, and probably to make Cassie feel more disgusting, it seems, he would present her with gifts during the freak-offs. The lawsuit states at one point she had so many designer bracelets from the freak-offs, and immediately following his brutal beatings, he would gift her bracelets, designer bracelets, that she felt that she was shackled by his presence. So the word freak-offs, these parties, they've kind of merged into different variations. What? Cassie's freak-offs that she lists in her lawsuit seem like more intimate encounters where she's forced to engage in activities with 1-2 different people in front of Diddy, right? But some people have stated he would just have like these freaky sex parties, allegedly. The word freak-offs, these parties are kind of merging. And then some people believe that all of Diddy's parties are freak-offs, that everyone that went to the white party should be burned at the stake. But then some people are saying, no, it's the after parties. And then some people are saying, no, it's the encounters that he's forcing these people into, like Cassie, that are the freak-offs. So it's unclear. It could be all of the above. We don't know.
That is my point. That is what I was asking earlier. Like, which is the freak-offs? Because, like, everything seems bad. Like, to have naked people walking in the house and then to have kids in the midst of that, that sounded worse to me. But this, coupled with that, boy, like, this guy needs to be under the jail. Right now, I think they're having mercy on him. Like, right now, I don't know. It's like there's layers to it. Like if I get it right, because like there's all this, or maybe there are different styles of freak-offs for different days or something like that. Or maybe there is the party, there is the after party, there is the house party, and then there is what she does to Cassie. Boy.
No, until the trial, I guess.
It's hard to say which is more off the hook. A Diddy party or a Diddy after party. Or a Diddy after party, which is basically a pre-party for the next Diddy party.
There are a lot of allegations and lawsuits.
Yeah, at this
women
point.
had attended his white parties, and then they were essayed at those parties. But I don't know if those are freak-offs. So it's like terminology, I guess, at that point. Cassie states in her lawsuit that in September 2018, she finally decides to leave Diddy. The two of them meet up at an Italian restaurant in Malibu where she confirms, yes, I'm serious, I'm done. Like, you can have all your stuff back, I'm over it. The dinner went okay. After dinner, he drops her off at her place, but instead of letting her leave, he allegedly forces himself into the apartment, tries to kiss her. She obviously tells him no because she's done, but instead of leaving, he allegedly, forcibly takes off her clothes, unbuckles his belt, and proceeds to essay Cassie while she claims she repeatedly told him no and is trying to push him away. Soon after, Cassie leaves the apartment.
I'm sorry. I think this has to be said. I mean, this is what a lot of women do wrong, right? And I know as powerful as Diddy is, if she wanted to meet Cassie, there was going to be a way, right? But you don't just present yourself to him again. You don't just do that. I mean, this guy did all this stuff to you, essayed you, beat you up, all this stuff. Wants to meet you again, and then you go. He's not a saint. He's still going to do what he's going to do. right? It's easy. Like, you hear some stories where there are casualties. Casualties, I mean, like unalivings, where it's like, oh, we broke up, the girl's somewhere else, and then the guy kind of lures them back in. Oh, you know what? I miss you. I'm sorry for all that I did. I'm a fool. I'm this, I'm that. Let me see you one last time. Let me give you this thing. You left your clothes here. Let me give it to you. Come get it. All that stuff. And then there are casualties, right? This, I think, I don't know what was said, but I believe there was nothing. I mean, that was your freedom. Like, getting out of his life was your freedom. I don't know how. Was it Stockholm? Like, kind of like popping in? Stockholm syndrome or something like that? I don't know. Like, why see him? Why see him? Like, this, man. Goes out to you ladies out there. If you're in a relationship like this, and then you manage to break away with your life, why go back in? Why meet them again, right? Relocate, go to a place where you'll not be seen, like far away, another state, something like that, right? There is no way somebody whose habit is putting the pause on you is going to change. It's a habit. It's a habit. That's how they exercise control. There's something broken in them. They have to go fix it. You do not fix it. You do not believe that they've changed, no matter how they try to lure you back in. They're trying to do something to you. And in this case, she's lucky she didn't lose her life, but still unlucky because she was essayed. This guy's an evil, man. Same thing. Don't go back to somebody who used to. If somebody puts the pause on you, a guy puts the pause on you, a lady, you manage to break off, that is it. That is your freedom right there. Don't go back. It doesn't matter. You get your kids. If you have kids, you get your stuff. If you have stuff. If you left stuff over there, your life is worth more than those stuff. You get another.
Apartment that he was paying for, leaves everything, like the car that he paid for, and manages to get out of her Bad Boy Records contract. And coincidentally, a few months after she moved away, she gets doxxed. Her new address gets posted online, which leads to her feeling paranoid and terrified, rightfully so. His attorney, Ben Braffman, says, for the past 6 months, Mr. Combe has been subjected to Ms. Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Ms. Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs'
Sue that lawyer too.
To which Cassie's attorney responded, but you already offered her 8 figures to prevent her from filing this lawsuit, which we rejected. The public arguments are over after these statements because within a business day, 24 hours, Cassie and Diddy settle for an undisclosed amount. There is a number circulating that she settled for $30 million, but that seems to be taken from a statement Diddy's attorney made where Cassie allegedly demanded $30 million or else she would write a book. She could have settled for $30 million. Honestly, I hope a lot more because he's worth $1 billion. Cassie released a statement after the settlement stating, I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. And again, you know, I think it's just so much trauma to go through. And of course, Diddy's attorneys are going to be slinging dirt at everybody. It's just rough. She says, I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. Diddy releases his own statement. We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love. But it's not until CNN posts hotel surveillance footage that people realize Cassie was likely telling the truth the whole time about everything, and there's probably a lot more that we don't know. The footage is from 2016 at an Intercontinental Hotel in LA. In the security footage of the hotel hallway, you see Cassie quickly walking out of the hotel room. She's wearing this big oversized hoodie, she's barefoot, and she's holding a bunch of things in her arms, and it's clear that she's in a rush to leave. She quickly walks towards the elevators, but seconds later, Diddy comes running out of the room with nothing but a towel around his waist. He runs out down the hallway, grabs her by the back of her hood, throws her onto the ground, and starts kicking her. Cassie is just laying on the floor while he kicks her and she's in a fetal position. Diddy grabs the back of her hood and starts dragging her back towards the hotel. He also grabs her bags that were dropped, and it appears that Cassie is crying out for help. Perhaps worried that someone would investigate, he lets Cassie go but takes all of her belongings into the hotel room. She goes back to the elevator to try and get the elevator, but he comes back, shoves her down, and throws a vase at her from a nearby table, like a glass vase.
And then, did she leave or?
She does end up leaving, and it is exactly as she has it listed in her lawsuit. So the lawsuit comes out in November of 2023. The footage is released in 2024. So
United States District Court, Southern District of New York, Cassandra Ventura, plaintiff versus Sean Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Epic Records, Combs Enterprises, LLC, and Do Corp's defendants. Man, with all that we've listened to, it's surprising that people like Boozy and Faison defended Diddy, saying, "Oh, it's just a black man being freaky." Shut up! Shut up! Watch this. We all saw the hotel footage, and it was horrible. Put the freaky side part aside. This lady was brutalized, stomped on her face. You don't even do that in a fight. Even in professional MMA, and you can't stomp on a face. You can't punt. This guy was doing that to her, and then you come here with your platform and say that is a black man being freaky. Shame on you both, and you guys got to be investigated too.
people are like, she literally details this assault exactly like the footage.
So how is the footage not came out in 2016?
He paid the hotel security worker $50,000 in cash, allegedly.
To not post it?
Yes.
But
and not call the police. I think that he gave Diddy a copy. I don't know who else has copies. I imagine if someone like that is willing to take $50,000 to not release it or call the police, he probably took a copy of his own. Right. So who knows how many copies are truly out there.
The hotel has it still, right? He probably still had it.
Okay, the hotel was owned by a big hotel company, and they state that that hotel is no longer under their management and they don't have any files from them. So they're saying we didn't leak this in 2024. So
this was leaked by somebody.
It's unclear how CNN got this footage, and this becomes a whole thing because Diddy's attorneys are later going to allege that the government gave it to CNN.
Shut up! It doesn't matter. Like, you're an idiot, man.
He states now in a since deleted Instagram video. Remember, this man goes from "these are baseless, outrageous lies" to
"it's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up.
You are still fucked up.
But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
You shut up.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. Disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
We're disgusted of you.
I went and I sought out professional help. Got to go into therapy. Go to rehab. And ask God for His mercy and grace.
Don't mention God.
Once this footage is leaked, all these other clips start going viral. I think people are trying to see if they could have seen the clues. The Met Gala interview from 2015 has gone viral. And at the time, nobody really noticed, but Diddy and Cassie are being interviewed by Andre Talley, and she walks up to shake his hand. Diddy gives her the most insane death glare, and then very aggressively wraps his arm around her waist and pulls her in. And her whole body seems to tense.
Thank you, Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see 3 a.m.
He does not seem happy at all during the interview and even puts his hand on the interviewer's shoulder in a comforting way, but it feels slightly threatening in hindsight. One netizen comments, "He snatched her waist and I also saw the way he looked at her. This is pure control. If she stayed with him any longer, she might not be alive to tell anyone or file a civil lawsuit." The look he gave her for even shaking another man's hand, Diddy is gonna have plenty of more women coming out of the woodwork. He's a monster. Then in 2017, they're back at the Met Gala. They're interviewed by Andre again, and it appears that she's reaching her hand out to shake his hand but pulls back awkwardly while he appreciates her dress. She seems incredibly reserved this time, like she doesn't even want anyone to focus on her or her dress. And in comparison to the last Met Gala, where she approached Andre, shook his hand, this time she just waits in the back for Diddy to almost let her walk up and show off her dress.
Hardest working man in showbiz. Is this your avant-garde moment?
Yeah. This is it. This is fearlessness. This is.
The next Met Gala clip that goes viral is the next year, 2018, the year they break up. The theme is heavenly bodies, fashion, and the Catholic imagination. So Liza Koshy was asking each attendee the same question: "Is there anything you'd like to confess tonight?" Playing into the theme. But when she asks Cassie, a lot of netizens have pointed out, Diddy gives her a death glare once again. She stammers for about half a second before putting her hands into a prayer and saying, "I keep everything here, right here, or right here." And she points at herself and Diddy.
She says she keep everything right here between him and her and Diddy?
Yeah, or like her and prayers, God, I guess. But it's just the way that Diddy looks at her when they ask this question, and the way that she it seems that she appears nervous and stressed about the question.
Confess tonight before you go in.
I keep everything right here. There you go. Or right here.
There you go.
He had absolute control over Cassie. He had 100% control. Cassie had no control with the way he looks at her, and then she gets afraid. Like she gets anxious. She had 1,000% control. This was scary, just as the other netizen said. If she hadn't escaped, she would have been dead. She would have been unalived. Absolutely. This guy had control over everything. And that is what I said. If you manage to get out of such a relationship, what on earth will make you go back to see that person? If they ask you to come back and I've changed and I need something to talk and this, forget about it, man.
In total, 11 lawsuits would hit Diddy back to back.
After Cassie's lawsuit.
Yes. And then he will be hit with that federal raid on his houses, on both of his homes in March 2024 for an investigation into trafficking. Now the questions are open again. What the hell is going on? And none of Diddy's attorney's comments are even making sense. I will say a lot of the serious allegations do briefly get overshadowed by the baby oil memes, which Diddy's attorney doesn't really make it any better. He says, it wasn't 1,000 baby bottle oils, but it was a lot. And I'm not sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
He has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home.
The hell up.
Costco responded to this statement stating, "We do not sell baby oil in any of our U.S. locations. Keep our name out your mouth."
That's crazy.
Basically. Cassie does state it's hard because nobody associates her with music anymore, but more so just Diddy's girlfriend. But she still has that core group of fans that are just asking for more and more music, and it's difficult because, you know, she loves music and she's working on it. People have also taken apart a video Cassie uploaded, a music video released 1 year before their breakup. It's titled Cassie, a short film where she alludes to a toxic relationship, and she says he's like an aggravating high. Like the high you want to go away, but you never want to go away. It creeps up on you, has you do some crazy shit that you would never do, and then it leaves you in the middle of the night. In it, she has a line that says, "I just want to be free." And in the end of the short film, she drives off from the toxic relationship by herself, and she's standing in the desert with her arms outstretched, to which people allude and think it's her spreading her wings. She does state in an interview that this short film was really important for her because she was involved in every creative aspect of it. Cassie has also made her only public statement since her lawsuit about the matter. She writes, "The outpouring of love has created a place for my younger self to settle and feel safe now. But this is only the beginning. Domestic violence is the issue. It broke me down to someone I never thought I would become. With a lot of hard work, I'm better today, but I will always be recovering from my past. My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims the first time. It takes a lot of heart to tell the truth out of a situation that you were powerless in. I offer my hand to those who are still living in fear. Reach out to your people. Don't cut them off. No one should carry this weight alone. The healing journey is never ending, but this support means everything to me. Thank you. Love always, Cassie." Her husband, Alex Fine, posted to Instagram, "A letter to women and children. Men who hit women aren't men. Men who enable it and protect those aren't men. As men, violence against women shouldn't be inevitable. Check your brothers, your friends, and your family. Our daughters, sisters, mothers, and wives should feel protected and loved. Hold the woman in your life with the utmost regard. Men who hurt women hate women. To all the survivors, find the men and women who help and love. To all the survivors, your stories are real and people believe you. To all the survivors, you are not alone, and there are men and women who care only for your well-being and safety. We want you to succeed and flourish. To all the women and children, I'm sorry you live in a world where you're not protected and you don't feel equal. I want to raise my daughters in a world where they are safe and loved. To the abusers, you're done. You're not safe anymore. You're not protected anymore. The men by your side are just as weak. You're so miserable with yourself that death would be considered a kindness." Some netizens think that Diddy should have seen this coming because Cassie told him in a song exactly what she planned on doing. In her song, Love a Loser, which she states she helped write, the lyrics read, "I'd rather lose a lover than love a loser. Everything you did, I couldn't do it to you. Got my vision clear, so now I'm seeing through you. Writing you a letter, I'm gonna send it to you." Which she did. The letter just happened to be in the form of a lawsuit that would end his career. This is the tip of the iceberg, and this is part 1. Part 2 will be up soon. In that episode, we will be going in depth on the other 11 lawsuits, as well as in depth on the one lawsuit against his son, which is about what happened at a Diddy yacht party, and the very, very strange death of the mother of his children, Kim Porter, and the very controversial book that claims to be her diary entries before her death. And that book seems to implicate Diddy as having a much larger role in her death. So stay tuned for that. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one.
Is these unfazed essay allegations what really happened on Diddy's yacht? Did Diddy murder Tupac and Biggie? Biggie was his artist, wasn't he? So, oh my gosh, this guy was like a devil, like a demon. He was, I mean, he was like a demon. He did everything evil. And it's hard to even defend him at this point. I mean, 120 lawsuits. Even if half of those people are telling the truth, that is scary. Let alone all 120 people telling the truth. Yeah, in short, I think I'm glad Cassie came out of this alive. I'm glad she moved on, got married, and had kids. I hope to God Diddy faces the full rigors of the law, which I somehow doubt would be the case. He's rich and powerful. We're hearing his jail stories already. He's controlling stuff in there, which is a very bad thing. Alright guys, so I will catch you in the next one. Stay safe. If you know somebody who is or potentially could be with a person like this, encourage them to leave and help them out in any way you can, because these kind of people are monsters and evil. Alright guys, love you so much. I'll catch you on the next one. Adios.